Okay, this is what you've been waiting for, right? For me? I'm going to tell you why. We'll be concluding at about 4:30, and guess who has the drink tickets? Right here. So you want to meet me, you want to listen to me, I got the drink tickets. Those that act real good get two. In any event, the session that was scheduled for me was business opportunities, and I just want to hit a few things because I really want you to hear what Chuck and LaJean and Ashaunta have to say. By way of introduction, several of you have seen this magazine, either now or in the past, African American Golfers Digest. The founder and editor of this magazine will be with us during the African American Golf Expo, which will be this evening at 6:30 to 9 o'clock in the Hyatt Regency in Florida Ballroom B. I serve as the executive editor of this magazine, but this has been our primary method of getting and sharing information, so I hope that you would look at it online as well, too. The other thing that I wanted to hit very quickly is that we also, the other activity I'm involved in is the African American Golf Expo and Forum. And so I want to apologize because we probably have created a bit of confusion this year. We just had the expo in August in Palm Beach, and now here it is January in Orlando. Well, here's what happened. Some folks on my behalf made some calls to the PGA and Reed Exhibitions and saying, hey, the expo really should be held in conjunction with this show. It would be great if it was. And one thing led to another, and without much further ado and without lawyers in the room, we were able to put this together for January. So this is historic. In the 72-year history of the PGA Show, we are the only ones, the expo is the only activity that has been held coincident with the PGA Show. Okay? You heard from John Hagler with Pro Duffers. We have been, through the expo, responsible for a lot of businesses having booths out there. When Billy was talking about the other room, that's an expensive room to get in. But we've been able to help several businesses get in that room, and we're very proud of that. You will also have on your desk, on your table, these green sheets. This is actually the schedule for the expo, which starts tonight at 6:30. Then tomorrow again in this room, starting at 9 o'clock, will be our breakout sessions where we'll have more in-depth discussions about nonprofits and what have you. So please come back for that. We want you to glean and learn as much as you can. On the bottom, it says, please support the expo and contribute. I want you to know that's not coming to me. It has my name on it for sure, but it's not coming to me. Those dollars will be going back out to nonprofits, and a portion of those dollars will also be going to the Brandon Johnson Scholarship, which I started last year. So please know that you're not supporting me when you do this. You are supporting the effort. So if you are so inclined, please do that. I also want to mention at the far table, you see Malachi, Knowles, and Essie. If you raise your hand, he has socks in his hand. We feel very strongly that when you're in a community, you have the capacity to do something significant. Well, what we're doing this year is collecting socks. And Essie and Malachi are handling that. And please, if you have socks, bring them over. I think they've collected 138 pair already. So again, we want to thank them for that, and please support it as well. I'm almost done here. Some of you may have noticed Renee Powell. Some of you may not even know who Renee Powell is, but she was in this room. This shows you the level of excellence in this room. Renee Powell was the second LPGA, black LPGA professional, and currently is the owner of Clearview Golf Course in East Canton, Ohio. So So the other thing I would say is this: business opportunities. Please register your business today with Vendor Match, with PGA Vendor Match. They come out with opportunities for your business. It does not guarantee you a contract, but if you're not in the game, you won't be able to secure any contracts. So Vendor Match, PGA Vendor Match, register your business with that outfit. And then the last thing, because Dr. Cooper's looking at me cross-eyed here, so nonetheless, there have been 5 or 6 camera crews running around here since this morning, including the Golf Channel. And what I'd like to point out is, where's Anton? He's walking around here somewhere, isn't he? Anton, he called me 2 weeks ago and said, I want to get in the golf business. I want to do something. I'm going to start a golf channel. His channel will be called True Golf Network. That's him and his children right there. He's been in the golf business now a total of 2 weeks, but he's here because we made that happen. So with that, let me introduce this panel, this discussion. You're in for a real treat. LaJean Gould, Women in Golf Network, come on up. This is the work they do is just outstanding. Women in Golf Foundation, and they are on it every day. Ashaunta Epps, A Perfect Swing. I just sent a young lady to Ashaunta last week who was just getting in the game. Ashaunta is already giving her lessons. And then Mr. Chuck Walker. I want to tell you, if you have not been to the Southwest Showcase or watched it on TV, you have missed something. We were down there, we saw these, 42 people? Men and women in college and 2 high schoolers. This was a show to behold. And Chuck Walker, Ashaunta, LaJean, here's the point I want to make. It started with one idea, and it was commitment and passion and more commitment, more passion, a little cussing, but they got it done. I give you the nonprofit component of the Diversity Roundtable, and please afford me one last pleasure. I want to introduce my friends from Shady Rest Golf Club in Scotch Plains, New Jersey. Just stand up real quick. You can't say nothing because I'll get killed, but stand up, stand up, stand up. Get your ass up, stand up, stand up. Come on now, okay? This is the oldest black golf club in America, okay? 1921, black folks bought it with $100,000 US dollars. You hear me? And that's where John Shippen was the pro. If you don't know about John Shippen, better ask somebody. But I'm gonna tell you right now, they're here to learn, and they are raising millions right now to preserve the Shady Rest Golf Course and the golf club. I'm done. Thank you. Remember, I got the tickets.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Jim. I am pleased to be here. As Jim said, I'm LaJean Gould, the president and founder of the Women in Golf Foundation. And we have 2 objectives here with this nonprofit session. This is the first time we've been able to do it specifically with nonprofits, and all 3 of us are pretty much entrenched in the nonprofit world. We want to talk a little bit about the opportunities for national grants and also leveraging technology, because it's important for our nonprofits to be able to keep trend with what's happening in the marketplace so that we can stay relevant and we can keep doing the work that we want to do. As for me, my foundation is about to celebrate 30 years, doing the National Women's Collegiate Golf Championship. It's an event that we're extremely proud of. We host HBCU women's golf teams, and we've been doing that for 30 years, and we're going to celebrate that in Houston, Texas. And all of you are invited. You can find out about it by visiting our website, the Women in Golf Foundation, and you can also find us on Instagram at WIGFINC, Women in Golf Foundation Incorporated, in case you're trying to figure out what's that about. So, what's important to be able to sustain yourself for 30 years? And for us, it's been trying to leverage to other people to help us with our sustainability in terms of bringing youth involved, getting more youthful people around us, and helping us to understand what the trends are and what we've got to do to be able to communicate. Also bringing on youthful people on our board. I thought Lauren was going to be here, Lauren Shelley, because she's on our board. I actually met the AJGA team in a meeting like this, in a roundtable meeting like this. And through that relationship, I was able to get them as sponsors. I was able to get them to put somebody on my board that could help me think and help me do some of the things that they do. So I say that so that that's just a nugget for you to take home, because the majority of you in this room now are still nonprofits. Everybody else kind of left, but that's all right. The nonprofits are here to hear what we're doing. So I'm going to call up now Ms. Ashaunta Epps from Perfect Swing Golf, and let her tell you a little bit about who she is.
Thank you, LaJean. My name is Ashaunta Epps. I am the CEO and founder of A Perfect Swing, Inc., which is the Perfect Swing Golf Association and the Perfect Swing Foundation. Always grabbing nuggets from these sessions, so I echo what LaJean said, is to make sure that you pull something and utilize the networking session, not just for the drink ticket that Jim's going to give out, but to meet somebody and have the conversation. The A Perfect Swing organization started me as a business professional. So while I am an LPGA golf professional today, I also hold a bachelor and a master's in computer science, and I do cybersecurity for Microsoft. So I'm dual, so I'm that person that understood the low impact and the benefits of golf and decided that from a nonprofit perspective, I wanted to be the change and the difference and the access to those who needed to be a part of the organization and the industry, and that's what we do in our industry. Also, it's just so great to be able to engage with everyone else. At the time when I started the organization, I wasn't a golf professional, but understanding that there are resources that are available, so when you are a professional and you're in the room, conversation is a little different, right? The resources and the access and the passwords to things are a little different. And so I just encourage you all to allow whatever your why is for your organization, for your individual initiative in the industry, to use that as a power horse, a tool to leverage all of the ideas and the information that's a part of the room today and actually for the week. So thank you for listening, and now I will bring up Mr. Chuck Walker.
Well, thank you, everybody. How many nonprofits are in the room right now, just by show of hands, just so we know? Okay, great. All right. As Ashaunta mentioned, my name's Chuck Walker. I have the pleasure of serving as a board member and also as our executive director for the I Am a Golfer Foundation based out of Dallas, Texas. Our founder is in the room as well, Mr. Ira Malayo. Ira, if you don't mind, raise your hand as well so that everybody knows that you're here. Yep. A big shout for Ira in his trailblazing ways. Next year, I believe it's next year, Ira has not only become the vice president of our section of the PGA, the Northern Texas PGA, but next year he elevates and becomes the first person of color to serve as president for the Northern Texas PGA section. So big congratulations to Ira, our founder. Yep. My job today is, we've got a fantastic guest with us right now. His name is Greg McLaughlin, and Greg has had a fantastic career as an industry leader for this industry, starting in grassroots organizations just like many of ours at a local chamber of commerce, but then elevating and working with the Western Golf Association, running a large events, including the BMW Championship for the Western Golf Association, then moving on to lead the Tiger Woods Foundation and its inception, and then from there leading the PGA Tour's Champions Tour that many of us are familiar with, and now in this current role serving as president and CEO of the World Golf Foundation and also the PGA Tour First Tee Foundation. Within that role of World Golf Foundation, he's had a huge impact on so many of us and the work that we get to do through the Make Golf Your Thing grassroots grant. And without further ado, I want to take a moment to bring up Mr. Greg McLaughlin and thank him so much for all that he does for the work that we get to do.
Hi.
Greg, thank you
Ladies,
so much.
how are you doing? Pleasure. Nice meeting you. Of course, yeah. Well, thank you all for having me. I guess I'm in between a cocktail, right, after you guys have been here for hours. How about the great Jim Beatty? I mean, he's a tough act to follow, to be honest with you. We've been supporters of Jim's Expo. I encourage everyone to go over there. The work that Jim's done with that really in, 4 or 5 years in building it. And I'm so excited, Jim, that the PGA of America brought you into this platform, which I think will continue to elevate the event that you're doing. Renee Powell, as Jim mentioned, look her up. She has really a tremendous Wikipedia page, but her father, William Powell, is, I believe this is correct, I think he was the first African American to design and build a golf course. So Renee obviously is accredited and very, very established in her own light, but her father really, William Powell, was a legendary guy. So I'll just take a minute as Jim's kind of passing out drink tickets, which is great, and talk a little bit about it. I know you guys have been meeting for hours here. This is a great group of people. You know, the work that Dr. Cooper has done to bring this group together on an ongoing basis. I'm starting my 7th year in working with the World Golf Foundation, and Steve Mona and Mike really created this group, several years ago. And then after 2021, when Make Golf Your Thing came together, it gave this group, I think, even more of a platform to gather and talk about a variety of issues that the industry wants to try and support. So where is Michael? Michael, please take a bow. I mean, really, congratulations on the work, and I know you've got a good group of people that have helped you in really launching this thing, but the genesis of this, the heartbeat really is Mike, that continues to try and drive this industry forward to look more like America, quite honestly. And I think that's really the issue that Mike's gone, and I applaud him really for his efforts in wanting to do that. So the Make Golf Your Thing initiative launched with the grassroots grants, the job portal. The job portal is designed really effectively to try and have golf companies diversify their workforce. And I think the interest and energy from the golf companies, and that means the PGA Tour, PGA of America, Troon, Acushnet, TaylorMade, Callaway. I mean, think of any company, they're all trying to diversify their workforce, and we've been trying to help bring individuals in that could be then have opportunities to work in the golf space. We also launched back in, I think, probably 2022 when it came together, a diverse supplier portal to provide businesses in general, whether it's a PGA Tour event, LPGA, USGA, just a group to go. I mean, every major professional sports league, NBA, Major League Baseball, NBA, NHL, they all have a place where you can go to try and diversify your supplier partners that are basically providing services to the variety of different organizations. And then we also had the ADM model, which really was designed so people could go to one repository and find golf within their local communities. And those are just a few things that I think the initiative that Make Golf Your Thing. So as we look to 2025, Many of you hopefully knew my colleague, Andrew Yeast. Andrew really did a great job for the World Golf Foundation, 6 years. He had an opportunity to lead the North Florida chapter of the PGA of America. You'll see him around here because I think yesterday was his first day. So he's done a great job, and we're sad to lose him because he really was very, very passionate about the work around Make Golf Your Thing. So we're transitioning and moving forward, but the team's there. Earlier this morning, we had a steering committee, really of the individual volunteer leaders that are driving, this initiative, and we talked about a wide variety of things, mainly the two big things being the grants and the grant applications, which will get posted, and I heard a few of you talk about it a little bit earlier, in February, so we're excited to bring the grants back. And the thing that, yeah, right on. The thing that the grants really have done, for those of you that maybe do not pay as close of attention, I think the latest 2024 numbers out of the National Golf Foundation is I think it's 45 million people now are basically playing the game of golf, and that's green grass, and then that's also, off the Top Golf, the simulators that they're calculating. But the amount of diversity that's currently in it, whether it's youth, people of color, females, is continuing to grow. And we believe that this grassroots grant program is having a direct correlation on the growth that's coming from the game and bringing new people into the game. So those of you that are recipients, congratulations. Please keep doing the work that you're doing. We summarized the grants in a few words. What we want are, people that have never played the game, that are coming from diverse backgrounds, to come to the game and keep playing the game. So if that fits your organization, please keep doing it. Apply for a grant. We'll try and award those and help you. Fortunately, I'm not on the grant committee. Mike chairs the grant committee, okay? So you can lean on him during the cocktail hour if you'd like about some of the programs you're doing. And then we're going to continue to, promote this portal. Again, we've got a lot of young people that are in the portal and a lot of jobs that are available. We're trying to make sure that we bridge that gap so we can celebrate some of those. And then I will tell you, just, kind of in closing, companies today, I think, are continuing, at least golf companies and the companies that we deal with, are still bullish about trying to bring more people, of color to the game, whether it's working, whether it's, selling equipment or trying to drive it. But I will tell you, they're all pausing and they're all trying to figure out what they need to do. And that's kind of the theme that I keep getting from a lot of them are what are they doing? How effective are they at doing it? And we're trying to, bridge that gap and play a role in continuing to do it because, we think it's important. And we think, bringing the golf industry, together, because it is a very fragmented industry. You've got owners, operators, superintendents, professionals. There's, I don't know, what are there, 3,000 vendors that are in there. When you walk into the show, if you happen to see some of them, it's a wide variety of different people that touch the game and express the importance of what we're really trying to do as an industry because I think it's critical. So with that, Jim, is the bar open? Are you officially opening the bar? Oh, no, we have one more. Okay, well, thank you all very much. I appreciate it. Thanks. Yes.
Before Greg leaves, dangerous question, but the dangerous question is how many in the room are connected to nonprofits or intimately involved in a nonprofit, but did not know about the grassroots grant program or have not received a grassroots grant yet? How many in the room did not know? If we could allow Greg, if you could, maybe 2 minutes to speak a little bit about the grassroots grant program, what it's about, and how folks that hadn't heard about it.
Yeah, I mean, and if you go to If you go to makegolfyourthing.org, you'll see an explanation basically of it. And the grants, and I kind of said it a little bit earlier, you know, the vision of grassroots grants were designed to award monies to individual 501c3, not-for-profit organizations to help them bring more diverse people to the game of golf. That's simple. And I kind of said it earlier. We talked about that's what we want. We want these individuals, and it's really programmatically directed. As stated earlier, I mean, I also oversee the first tee, and I understand you got administrative costs, but the idea is trying to find programmatic ways to bring people in. And, you know, maybe that could bring, you know, bringing a coach in, for example, that, you know, potentially is going to bring, you know, more kids in. The grant guidelines are generally very detailed as far as how you can apply. I would recommend, if you're unsure, please do apply. Again, the only real criteria is you have to be a 501c3. We get a lot of applications. We have some great partners. I think we've been averaging around 80 grants that have been awarded. Mike, that sounds about right. And I think since inception, it's around 2.5 million, probably all in. So we continue to believe, and I believe, that the work that we're doing is why we're increasing the number of people that are playing and the number of people ultimately of color that are playing. I would say to you, if this is the most important thing, if you've received a grant in the past, tell us your story, because people want to hear it, especially like our donors, because we look at the success that the industry is going, and the industry continues to grow. I mean, COVID's over with, right? We kind of rode that, but our industry's continuing to do it. I'd like to believe that what we're doing is making a difference, but we need to sell those stories and tell the success of those stories. So if you have any unique things at all, please share them. Example, we weren't in a particular area. Now we got into a particular area. I had my friends from Jackson Park I was sitting with over there, which, if you've been in Chicago, wonderful facility, south side of Chicago, and what they've been able to do and bring people from that community in to play golf, kids, adults. Those are great stories, and those are great stories for us to try and tell, and we've got a marketing committee that really does a good job at trying to promote that, so please help tell those stories.
Then one more, and then Ashaunta.
Yeah.
The portal, how do we access, how do folks who are new to it access the job portal?
Good question. We talked about that earlier, and I'll tell you what I'll do. We met afterwards, and what we're really trying to determine is what the journey is for a young person, you know, ultimately to go through it. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not as clear with it myself on how someone literally goes from I'm interested in working in the golf space to applying, you know, uploading my resume, how do I search through jobs? So I told our steering committee this morning that we're going to basically kind of roadmap what that journey is. I will tell you, I mean, we're a fairly small not-for-profit, and, you know, the website isn't as robust as it should be, but there's 170 golf industry companies that have posted jobs. And all of the jobs are open jobs, because if a job gets filled, it disappears from our website as part of it. And there's a tremendous amount of activity. But, you know, the website, it's not a professionally corporate-run website. You know, we've got a group of volunteers, and then we've got, you know, some contractors that kind of help us stand it up. So we're going to do what we can to make it, I guess, as robust as possible. But the first thing I guess I'm going to do, and I'll probably share it with Mike, and maybe Mike can push it out, you know, to his to group. Of what the journey is from an individual, and we feel like it probably needs some help from a user-friendly standpoint. But again, it's, I would say maybe 2 years right now where it's, you know, developed itself, and it's, I think it's, the numbers are good. What we're hoping for is maybe celebrating a few more of the wins. You know, who are the kids that, what's the pull-through rate? How's the success of it working? So let me have the roadmap, you know, detailed, and then I'd ask Mike or the team basically to kind of push it out so you guys can see how the process works. Kendall would be an excellent person as well. I'm sorry, ma'am, you had a question?
Well, I have a statement. So,
Please.
My organization, A Perfect Swing, is a recipient, has been a recipient of the Grassroots Grant, and I want to say thank you, and that it is making a difference. So I am very appreciative. So,
Wonderful. That's the story we want to hear.
They're saying that. And if you ever need any user stories or any video footage, we got you. I'm happy to tell the success stories that we've had, because it's been very beneficial. And I think it's important from a grassroots grant standpoint, a grassroots organization standpoint, is that I'm willing to say that everyone in those organizations, they never have enough hands. And that grant gives us an opportunity to get some more hands so that we can serve the community that we live in and that we love. So I'm definitely appreciative of that, and I wanted to make sure that I said that.
Yeah, good, thank you. I appreciate that.
And one quick question that I had is that, so you mentioned that Andrew, which is awesome, he left the role in terms of kind of managing everything. Will that role be filled?
Yeah, we're trying to figure that out now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And would that be, so that'll be on the Make Golf Your Career job posting? So that there's
I don't know, it's a good
those
question.
in the
Yeah.
room that
We haven't, we're trying to
apply for that job?
finalize the budget so we can, to be honest with you, get the grants. That's probably first and foremost, getting the grant application posted, open it up so we can go through that process. Because it is a fairly involved process. We've got a whole group of people that read the grants, and then by the time they ultimately get funded, you know, it turns out to be probably July. So it's literally almost a 6-month process. So we're trying to finalize the budget. Several of our partners, PGA of America, new CEO, you know, just coming in the door. LPGA, another strong partner. Commissioner left in the middle of it. So we're still in the process of really trying to raise money and get our budget finally approved.
Okay. Well, yeah, thanks again.
No, thank you. Anybody else have a question?
Yeah, I don't have a question. I have a statement. It's just kind of on the piggyback on what Ashaunta just said. The Women in Golf Foundation has been a recipient of the grants for several years, and it's been the biggest piece of our basic sustainability. You know, we can raise money that will allow, you know, through our programs, that will allow us, the program, to not go in the red. But when we can get a grant from this organization, what that has enabled us to be is to be sustainable and to be able to bring on some staff that we couldn't do before.
Yep.
So I just want to say thank you, and we need it to keep coming because it really does make a difference. So thank you.
Delighted to hear that. Again, you've got the co-chair of the committee sitting over there, so I'm sure that I think he probably knows the success of a lot of the programs. So anybody else have a question?
What other questions do we have? Again, just a reminder on Greg's amazing journey from grassroots early on to Western Golf Association and the Evan Scholar Foundation and those rich experiences, to the PGA Tour, to the Tiger Woods Foundation. Question that I have, Greg, is everybody would love to know from an insider, someone who was right there in the ropes, the early days with Tiger. The early days with Tiger, how can we take some of the things that you observed or the lessons that you saw about Tiger and his family and how they were able to do what they were able to do? How can we replicate more of that? If you will?
Yeah, that's a fairly interesting question. I could go on for like an hour, right? You know, telling the story. So I met Tiger in 1990. I'm living in Southern California, running the Nissan Open, and your only news you really got in those days was the LA Times and the Orange County Register, right? There was no social media, there was nothing, and you have this young man that's winning all these golf tournaments, and I tried to convince our board that, I think it'd be great to, give him an exemption, right? You've got Los Angeles, fairly, diverse community, and the philosophy I always had is that if you kind of get a young player on their way up, the idea is they're going to be more loyal to you, and they're going to continue to play. But he was winning all these tournaments at 14 years of age, and it didn't go very well. So every open PGA Tour event, not invitational, not whatever special or whatever the big events they have right now are, but every open tournament has 4 spots that any one of us could show up and pay your $200, and if you get one of these 4 spots, you can play. So here it is. It's the 1991 LA Open. I got shut down on giving him the spot. And it's always on Monday, and it's Tuesday morning, and I open the LA Times, sitting in tournament headquarters, and there's a small little, I don't know, maybe it's on page 4 or something like that. Tiger Woods misses qualifying by 2 shots. So my boss is right there. I'm like, I told you, this kid can play. And it's funny because I asked him about it, I don't know, 100 times, over the time I spent with him. And, we told the story about, how here he showed up as probably was a freshman in high school, and he's playing against really tour players. And then they committed, we gave him the spot, he came out and played, and as you know, the rest is kind of history. So fabulous, career and really what he's done. But I guess I'd answer your question by, when I looked at it, I don't think I ever thought that, he was going to amount to who he was, winning 15 majors. And I've spent a lot of time with Earl and Tita, and, Tita was much more reserved as far as, Tiger's potential. Earl, if you ever saw Earl, I mean, he had the vision, and arguably, maybe undersold the impact that Tiger had, because they say that there's only 3 people in the game of golf that's really impacted. 3 people. Ben Hogan, really for fitness and practice and really what he did. Palmer, bringing the people out, going to play in the Open Championship and bringing Americans over there, and Arnie's Army, and then Tiger. And it's fitness, it's discipline. I mean, it's not even the winning as much as it is just, these guys are all athletes now, if you look at them. I mean, they're athletes. And the things that he would say about, the size of players, he would say Jack Nicklaus and Arnold Palmer, that they would be little guys, and what the next wave of golf is, they're all going to be, athletes. And if you look at Dustin Johnson, for example, Brooks Koepka, I mean, those guys are athletes. Probably could have played a lot of different sports. So, but, and I look at Tiger, I mean, his golf acumen is like off the charts, but that just was kind of who he was. Finding someone else like that, I guess the only thing I would say is, who knows, right? They're out there. You have to find a young person, male or female, and give them that chance, from a development standpoint. I will tell you that one of the things on the first tee that we've tried to do more of is when you find somebody whose skill level is exceeding the quality of your coaches. And that happens at the first tee level, right? They're mentors, bringing them along. And when you find that person, one of 2 things happen. The great organizations find somebody to continue to develop them, right? I mean, Tiger, I don't know how many coaches he's had. He may have had 10 coaches in his career by the time, he had the one, kind of outgrew him and continued to do it. So find somebody, at your local club, find a good assistant that's a great teacher, and continue that person, because the development of that person, because what will happen is that individual won't leave your golf program. They'll continue to stay at your golf program and reconnect, and maybe they'll coach the younger kids or whatnot. But oftentimes what happens is we kind of let them go, and then they go on, and they, basically they don't stay with our program. It happens at the first tee level. And that would be the one thing I would encourage everybody to do, because you'll take a part in the development of that individual. And for the most part, if someone's good, there's 29,000 golf professionals out there. There's a lot of good teachers. I mean, they don't all have to make money teaching a good young player that's going to be able to, help from their development standpoint. That would be the only thing I would say if you really want to find another Tiger Woods or something, fairly close to that. Continue to give them opportunities. That's probably the most important thing, and that's what we do, right? Yeah. I don't know, Mark, did you have a question? I don't want to, we've got cocktail time here, but I could see some anxious, thirsty people here, but I don't know I don't want to hold anybody up. If you have any other questions?
Any other questions? Yep, any other questions? Okay.
Okay.
Folks, how about
Thank you all.
huge round
Thank
of
you.
applause for Greg?
Oh, thanks.
Huge round.
My pleasure. Thanks a lot. Thank you. My pleasure.
We truly can't say enough thanks to Greg and to the entire team at the World Golf Foundation, the entire team at Make Golf Your Thing. For those of us like LaJean and others in the room who raised their hand and said, yes, I've received a grassroots grant, you know the impact of it. We heard Greg mention annually nearly 80 organizations being impacted. Annually, now millions of dollars being distributed to grassroots organizations, allowing us to go out and into our local communities and do the good work that we get to do locally. So can't say thanks enough, Greg and the entire team at Make Golf Your Thing, the entire team at the World Golf Foundation. Part of this today, you heard Mark mention it, but when you come to these, often when you go back, you reflect and you go, man, did I meet somebody at that event? How do I make this worthwhile? Did I meet somebody? Did I learn something while I was there? And now that I'm back home, how can I put this to use? And so Ashaunta is going to introduce us to one more special guest today, and I'll let Ashaunta take it from here.
Thanks, Chuck. Greg, just in case you have to step out before we end, I just want to say that I'm going to nominate Coop to take on the role for Andrew, and I'll be happy to give him a letter of recommendation if that will work. I think he would do a wonderful job. Hint, hint, drop, drop, wink, wink, nod, nod. We got a second. Look, we got a second, a third, a fourth, a 25th. Look at it, we got another one. So, right, shall we take a vote now? I know, right? But that's so awesome. But thank you again for that presentation and for the grassroots grant. I'm going to bring up Dylan, but I want to say real quickly that for those nonprofits in the room that have not received funding from the grassroots grant program, please ask questions. Please fill out the information. I will tell you, if you're not used to that type of paperwork being asked, it's going to seem a little daunting at first, but don't let that discourage you. But pick up the phone, ask questions. Coop is always providing referrals for people that can kind of help you understand what the information is, but it's a must for your organization, and I'm just going to encourage you. I won't be selfish and say that I want to keep it all for a perfect swing, because we're all in this together, and that's important, okay? I want to bring up Dylan. Dylan is the executive director for the Fairways to Leadership program. I met Dylan in this very same room a few years ago, and he has done an amazing job at the Fairways to Leadership program, and I'll allow him to talk with you about that. But when it comes to branding and kind of updating your documentation from a digital standpoint, He has done an amazing job in that space. And so we wanted him to share information, share some tools and tips that he's utilized so that you, from an organization standpoint, you can get that information and utilize it to the best that you can as well, or seek resources to help you utilize that. Because the way you present your brand is really important. So you don't, we want you to go from that napkin with pencil or ink pen on it to legit business documentation, right? So putting our best foot forward, because, oftentimes what I think I get offended by when someone says, this looks really nice to say it's a black organization, right? Am I wrong? That part. Exactly. And so it's just a matter of understanding that there are tools and information out there that we can utilize to enhance our brand. And don't be offended when you know that there are opportunities and information out there. So I want to bring up Dylan to share more information about that. So we want to give you a couple of tools to help you out. So without further ado, Mr. Dylan. Mr. Dylan Gladney.
How's everybody doing? I'll be extremely brief. I know Greg was supposed to be in between cocktails and this speaking presentation, but now I was put in here. So, and it's ironic that one of the youngest people in the room was tasked with talking about technology. So I'll do my best. As she mentioned, I'm the Executive Director of Fairways to Leadership. I have served in the role for a year now. It is a golf nonprofit focused on providing executive leadership training through golf as a tool. So we provide 6 weeks of executive leadership training on course and off course. We are established at 12 universities across the country, many of them minority certain institutions, and I see a lot of partners in the room. So I'll jump right into it. When we talk about the major reasons for why nonprofits and small organizations fail in terms of technology, it's 4 reasons, right? Lack of strategic alignment. So that means businesses invest in technology without aligning with their goals. Overcomplicating or poor usability. Insufficient cybersecurity, which I imagine a lot of nonprofits and smaller organizations have run into in the past. And then resistance to change or poor adoption. So keep that in mind as you listen to me today. So I'm going to keep it very high level and touch only on a few points. The first being your CRM. Your CRM is defined as your customer relationship management tool. It is a system or a technology platform designed to help organizations manage and analyze their interactions with their stakeholders and develop relationships. So your CRM is not Excel, it is not a Word document, it is not, as she mentioned, your pen and paper. They have tools out here that are put in place for you all to be able to better manage your stakeholders. The 3 main reasons why your CRM is so important. The first, the CRM enables automated emails and follow-ups, ensuring timely communication with your donors, with your students, and with your partners. So this allows you to create campaigns that you predestine to be sent out when you have major events. The second is consumer segmentation. Within this CRM system, you're able to simplify the administrative tasks such as event registrations, donation tracking, and student participation management, which I know is so important to small businesses. And last but not least, data-driven insights. So your CRM provides real-time analytics on donor behavior, engagement trends, and program impact to make sure that you align with strategic decisions. An example of how Fairways to Leadership has utilized our CRM, we have just over 900 students in our program, and we'll graduate the 1,000th student in this spring, something that we're very excited about, but we have to understand how we can keep track of all that data. So we utilize that CRM, and as we send out emails, we're able to track things like what's the best day to send out? Is it during the week, midweek? Is it at the end of the week? So that we better understand when the students are best engaged. Just a few examples of some CRMs that offer either free or low-cost prices for nonprofits would be HubSpot, Zoho, MailChimp, which is what we use, and obviously everybody is familiar with Salesforce. So please familiarize yourself with a CRM and make sure that you integrate it into your nonprofit. The second thing I'll talk about is donor prospecting. If you're not familiar, you know that is the tool to be able to ensure that you all are identifying the right donors for your nonprofit. The 4 main reasons for that are leveraging your donor research tools. So there are a number of platforms that I can share with you post-presentation. Optimizing your website. Do you have a click now button? Do you have information suited on your website for individuals to be able to directly go and give immediately and to be able to easily navigate it? Retargeting and remarketing. This means using tools like Facebook ad messengers and Google ad to retarget visitors who interacted with you in the past to your website who did not exactly complete that donation. And then last but not least, analytics and A and B testing. A and B testing just means that you're able to test one email from the other. Does this wording more appropriate for this group based off of how we're able to track? The last thing that I'll mention as I come to a close, and I can talk about a few other things as we meet after during this happy hour, but it is the possibilities of AI. So for you all out there, just a show of hands, is everybody using some type of AI platform, whether that be ChatGPT? Okay. And are you using it to the fullest ability? So, yes, I know you are. So for example, with that list of 900, a number of the students, I did not have updated information. I had their school email, but I did not have their personal email. So I lost probably 50%, leading all the way back up to 2020. Through AI, it was able to put the school email and be able to track the new address, the correct name, and all the information of those students, enabled for me to update my information within a matter of 20 minutes. It's able to update your CRM systems, donor prospecting. You can ask it questions such as, what is the right time to send this email based off of how my donors have engaged in the past? There are a number of ways that you can use your AI, so make sure that you are using that to the best of abilities. And if you don't know, you can ask AI how to be a better nonprofit. So that's all I have for you today. I know like I said, I'm in between drinks, so I will pass it back over to the committee, but just want to say thank you, and I am a recipient of the Make Golf Your Thing grant, so we've done some great work with that as well. So thank you all.
And so great job, Dylan. And the quick thing to note is that all of those tools, most of them have a free version. And it scales based on the number of donors or things of that sort that you have that, or your mailing list. So don't shy away if on the first part of the website it's a number that you don't like, okay? So I'm going to turn it over to Coop or whoever is going to close us out. So thanks, everyone.
It's closed.
It's closed.
No, really, just a big thank you for everybody who stayed with us today, particularly the ones who have been here from opening to close. My last message, which resonates with me, Greg has left, and I want to thank him for coming in here to speak to Make Golf Your Thing. But the one thing that has resonated with me from that meeting I went to at 10 o'clock today before this one, and now, is the need to communicate our stories out there. There's some on the inside who don't know it's making an impact. And the only way it can make an impact is for us to tell our stories. We had some social media gurus with us today. We even got a couple of TV people. We have a platform, various platforms to tell our story. If we don't tell it, there's no more of these. I won't get that drastic. There's some more of these. But if we don't tell these stories and find platforms within those in this room, we cannot rely on those outside this room to tell our stories. That is the one thing the main thing I took from today. We got to get better at that. If we need to band together to do it, let's do it. It's going to help you all with your fundraising efforts. It's going to help us get the word out on the streets.
It's going to help us with our HBCU work, Dr. Orr and Cameron. So we have to tell our stories. It's done. Thank you all for hanging around. There's food to my right. There's drinks to my left. Thank you all, and check out the expo while you're here.